Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Wix here again. In today's episode we're going to be installing the Precision Turbo, the uppipe, the Turbosmart wastegate and also the side exit exhaust. Let's go. Alright, so I've taken the front guard off because we've got a side exit going on today. I've briefly just put the uppipe on for now and the exhaust side of the turbo. So that's just sitting in there because what I need to install is this little bracket here. Now it didn't come with the kit, but I thought it should have, because when you're dealing with V-bands, it's really hard to line up if you don't have something to go off. So this is the bracket that Evan sent me from B&M Performance Fab over in the States. So I need to put that on there. So what I'll do is I'll take this off. I'm not quite sure where this goes. I've got a good idea of the only place it can go. It doesn't quite line up exactly, but I'll get this pipe off and then we'll kind of see where this bracket goes. I think they use these two holes here, so I'm gonna need to put some riv nuts in there, so I can put a M8 bolt through there, and that should be enough to hold the bracket. Should be able to bolt it to the uppipe and then that should be set. So pretty nervous about this. When I first mucked around with it, when I first got the kit, nothing was really lining up. I didn't have this bracket at all. So I didn't really know where it was meant to go, but this bracket helps a lot, so thanks Evan for that. And yeah, we'll get this pipe off and we'll have a look at this bracket. Okay, pipes off. Those are usually the holes where these plastic tabs just sit in. So I've pulled them out and I'm gonna need to drill them a little bit bigger, but I'm guessing the bracket sits like that. So one hole there, one hole there. Unfortunately I want to use an M8 bolt at least to hold it, and that doesn't fit in there. So I'm going to need to drill the hole a little bit bigger. So I'll drill the hole out, and then we'll see if we can get these rivet nuts inserted. Alright, so bracket's all in. Hopefully that's right. I think I got it the right way. If not, I can swap it around, but we'll put the uppipe back on and see if I can bolt it up to one of these holes. Alright, so that's all bolted up now. Got the housing on. It seems pretty good so far. I'll soon know when I go put the side exit on. It comes out this hole here. So I've done a little bit of chopping this morning. I've chopped out a big hole on the bottom piece, which is what the instructions were. So it's all quite rough. I need to tidy that up. But I just want to get the exhaust on and see if, because I think the original one came out here and that would have hit. So some of the photos that the fabricator showed me had a big hole in there, so I've cut that out. So I want to attempt to put the exhaust on and see how it lines up on the outside. I'm a little bit nervous, but where the turbo's sitting, it looks pretty straight. One thing I definitely know, and I didn't know it before I bought the kit, is that it's not going to fit with the factory headlight. So I'm not too sure what I'm going to do about that. I know there are some aftermarket headlights you can buy that are quite skinny, so I might have to look at getting one of those, but pretty happy with where the turbo exhaust housing is sitting. We'll get this exhaust on and see what happens. Alright, so I've got that on. Now from here it all looks good, well this part doesn't. It's hard to know without the fender on. I'm going to have to cut a hole in my fender. So I'm a bit nervous about from here that way. The good thing is I can always cut it, twist it, re-weld it. So I think it's actually meant to be back a little bit, maybe. It's really hard to know. When you're buying the whole kit, you always get nervous, but I mean that is the bracket that can go, that came with it, and that's the only place it possibly can go. There's nowhere else for it to go. Looks all pretty lined up down there, so that's good. So I'm pretty happy with that. Sits quite nicely there, but yeah, the turbo will definitely, yeah, I might go get the front half and just slot it in and see where it sits, because if it's hitting this, then I might be into another problem. So let me go grab that and have a look. But as for this part, if it doesn't quite line up, I guess that's always the nervous thing about buying the kit. I might even just take a little piece out of that so I can twist it around a bit more, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, we'll have a look. Anyway, I'll go get the front half of that turbo and slot it in, see what happens. So I have the turbo mounted. I've got the front housing on now, and yeah, she is quite tight. Not much room under there, can't even get a finger through. That's okay, that's pointing down, that'll give me enough room for the intercooler piping. I'm pretty happy with where it's sitting at the moment. This is the trouble with V-bands, is that you don't quite know which angle it's meant to sit on. So I've got mine a little bit loose so I can twist it, whereas when it's a bolt style, it bolts one way and that's where you know it goes. So now that I think about it, I probably would have opted for a bolt on or the bolt and nut option instead of V-band, because at least it would only go one way and that's the way it has to go. But with V-bands you're not quite sure. So there's two parts I'm nervous about. It's definitely this part here. So even if I twist it back, that angle, if I look at the rest of the car, that angle looks like it's going to dig back into the guard. But as I said before, that part I can sort of cut, maybe cut under here so you don't see it, and twist it, maybe add a little bit in and reshape it so it does line up properly. So that part's okay. Still need to modify it, but that part's okay. The second part I'm nervous about is obviously the front part. I'm not sure how far forward the turbo is meant to sit. So as you can see, there's no way I'm going to get my factory headlight back on there. Just got it hanging here at the moment, and it's got quite a fat rear end, so there's no way I'll get that in there. I was aware of that when I bought the kit, but still I'm unsure on how far forward this is meant to sit. But as you can see, when I put the bracket in, it is what it is. So it's not like I can move it backwards. That's the bracket that the fabricator gave me, and it's for this kit. So I'm guessing that's the only place it can go. So I'm pretty much stuck with that, and I'm just gonna have to make it work. I know there is I've forgotten the name of it, carbonetics I think. headlight kit that you can buy. So I'll just buy this side, and hopefully that will fit around that turbo, and if it does, everything is all good. Got plenty room for the wastegate. I might go grab the wastegate now and quickly bolt that up, and I've also got a screamer pipe that it's meant to come out the side. I'm guessing it will come underneath, but we'll see. I will soon find out too if I need to just take a little part of this bracket off as well. So I'll go grab the wastegate, screamer pipe, and see how we get on with it. Alright, so that's the wastegate on. Again, it's a little bit tight. There's a small gap through there. I just had to pull this away just a little bit for it to reach. And then there's the screamer pipe for it. So kind of looks like it follows the same path, but again, the angle's all, in my opinion, the angle's all screwed up. So we'll see what happens when I sort out how I'm going to sort the fender out. Yeah, but otherwise that's the bulk of it all bolted up, so I'm pretty happy with it. I'll have to get that other headlight and see how that fits on, but otherwise, yeah, another deed done, all bolted up. Very nice piping, very nice welding from Evan at B&M Performance. I'll put a link in the description to his website and Instagram page as well. Otherwise, very good. So other thing I have to do for the turbo is I need to sort out an oil drain, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to drain that back to yet. I'll have a think about it over the next few days. Alright, so I had a bit more of a play around with the turbo, and I finally got it to fit how it was designed. So there's two parts that I needed to notch out of with the steel. One of them was up here, so I had to notch this part out, which I did, and I also had to go a little bit further. And there was a second part that I didn't realize, but it was this bracket here. So this steel used to come to here, so I've notched that out, and that's where the screamer pipe goes. So before I had it underneath, but it's actually meant to sit on the side, and now you can see that that's why it's shaved that way on that particular angle, because they're both pointing the same way. So now the turbo on its bracket is sitting in the proper position where it's meant to be. Obviously I can't use the factory headlight because the turbo intake is too big, and the back end of the housing of the headlight is quite deep. So I'm going to have to sort something out for another headlight. I kind of expected that. I'm okay with that because there is an option out there. So yeah, so I'll get that sorted, and then that'll look pretty funky with the turbo there. But I'm pretty happy with it now that I've figured it all out. I've had a word to Evan, who makes this stuff, just to put a few notes on his website, or when people are purchasing a kit like this, just to give them a helping hand on making sure they, little things like make sure you notch that out, originally it didn't come with the bracket. I suggested to him you should include the bracket in the kit because it makes it real easy, especially when you're using the V-bands. So pretty happy with it. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Very happy with the outcome. We got there in the end. Turbo and wastegate install complete. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Ciao.